22,000 jobs were added in the US last August. For 330 million people, that is a very small number. After adjustments, over 911,000 jobs disappeared from official statistics. Mortgage payments are almost double compared to before the pandemic. For the middle class, life feels like a survival game. Cities once promised success, now show rows of tents for the homeless. The new American dream is 2 jobs and no chance to buy a home. This video looks at 10 U.S. cities collapsing under jobs and housing. San Francisco, Chicago, Miami, New York, and others tell the same story. Do more, get less, and pay more just to live. San Francisco was once America's jewel, where laptops turned students into millionaires. Now the shine has faded and the city is collapsing quickly. It fell from 27th to 126th place in economic rankings. Between 2020 and 2024, the Bay Area lost 85,000 tech jobs. Companies like Oracle and HP moved to cheaper states such as Texas. Skyscrapers are empty, covered with big, for lease, signs across buildings. Market Street shows the collapse with dusty cafes and closed shops. Remote work ended downtown life, and small businesses lost customers. Housing is worse, with tiny studios still costing $3,000 monthly. In Texas, the same money rents a house with a yard. One engineer said, "We code for the future but cannot afford today." People call it Silent Valley, because shops and offices are silent. The rich move to Malibu, the poor are pushed to far suburbs. A fragile middle class struggles under high rent and job insecurity. San Francisco shows what happens when one industry fails and housing costs explode. Chicago was once America's industrial heart with steel, trains, and factories. In 5 years, Chicago lost over 120,000 jobs in manufacturing and logistics. Factories closed, and finance companies moved headquarters to Florida. Downtown skyscrapers are empty, and longtime restaurants have shut down. Office vacancy is at a record 22%, the city's highest ever. Rent has climbed 25% in just 3 years despite job losses. A 2-bedroom apartment now costs $2,400 monthly in Chicago. Maria, a food worker, lost her job and saw rent rise. Her rent increased by $400, half her part-time income. She now considers leaving for Indiana despite family roots in Chicago. Chicago was once the dream of hard-working immigrant families in America. Today it warns other cities about vanishing jobs and rising rents. Miami looks like paradise with beaches, music, and endless sunshine. But for locals, the city is becoming a luxury hotel they cannot enter. Since the pandemic, rents have increased by over 50%. A 1-bedroom costs $2,700, more than half a nurse's income. Florida's hurricanes make insurance costs higher than some monthly mortgage payments. Miami-Dade lost more than 30,000 hospitality jobs since the pandemic. Restaurants closed, schools and hospitals cannot keep workers with low salaries. Wealthy outsiders from New York and California bought real estate as investments. Investors leave houses empty, while locals cannot afford to live. Miami feels like a casino where only the rich can stay. But who runs a city when workers and teachers cannot afford it? New York is the city that never sleeps, but renters lose sleep. 1/3 of New Yorkers pay over half their income for rent. The city has over 120 billionaires, the most in the country. Strict zoning and international investors squeeze out middle-class housing supply. Even Wall Street workers cannot easily rent 2-bedroom apartments in Manhattan. Since the pandemic, New York lost more than 40,000 service jobs. Immigrant workers lost jobs while the middle class lost affordable housing. The rich continue buying penthouses and leaving others behind. The bright lights hide the struggle of families living in basements. New York is still iconic, but now is inequality, not opportunity. Los Angeles is sunshine, Hollywood, and million-dollar dreams for many people. But drive along Highway 101 and you see endless homeless tents. California holds 1/3 of America's homeless, with Los Angeles as center. Over 70,000 people are homeless here, enough to fill SoFi Stadium. Even nurses and police officers cannot afford the city's rising rent. Some live in cars while still working full-time jobs every day. Mansions in Beverly Hills overlook poor families sleeping in nylon tents. Los Angeles is called the City of Angels, but many feel forgotten. People joke that Hollywood always ends with happiness. But for Los Angeles workers, endings happen under bridges. It sounds like dark humor, but sadly it is real life. The big question is very simple. How long until tents outnumber movie theaters in Los Angeles? Is there hope for middle-class families once called the American dream? If Los Angeles is a movie about homelessness, Detroit shows a different story. Detroit was once the beating heart of American industry and progress. The sound of Chrysler, Cadillac, and Mustang cars filled every neighborhood street. Fathers worked in factories, mothers stayed home, families gathered every weekend. This was Motor City, a symbol of jobs and strong middle-class living. But today, Detroit is full of broken houses and forgotten streets. In 1950, the population was nearly 2 million people strong. Now fewer than 700,000 remain, leaving giant holes across neighborhoods. More than half left, leaving abandoned blocks like bread missing slices. The reasons for Detroit's collapse are very clear. Factories moved to Mexico and Asia where labor was cheaper. City leaders failed with corruption, greed, and very poor policy. In 2013, Detroit declared America's largest ever city bankruptcy. After bankruptcy, the housing market collapsed completely. Thousands of homes are still sitting empty and unsafe. Some houses sell for the price of a new TV. Cheap here means no jobs, no safety, and no real future. Many houses become crime zones or shelters for homeless people. Some are even burned down for quick insurance payments. Detroit still lives in memory as the golden age of cars. But today jobs are gone, streets are dark, and hope is weak. The question is simple. Can Detroit rise again, or is rebuilding just painting over cracks? If Motor City can fall this hard, is any American city safe? While Detroit lost jobs, Phoenix struggles with something very different. Phoenix was once a dream escape for families leaving California. You could buy a big house with pool for apartment money. But now those affordable days are long gone forever. In less than 10 years, Phoenix home prices rose nearly 80%. What was once affordable is now treated like luxury living. People from New York, Seattle, and California pushed demand higher. At the same time, climate change made things much worse. Phoenix suffers from drought, extreme heat, and shrinking water supply. Building extra houses does not solve the water crisis. Electric bills explode when temperatures climb above 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Water bills rise quickly because supply must be restricted often. Families who moved to save money now pay coastal city prices. Phoenix looks like an oasis, but the desert swallows everything. The dream of cheap living is completely gone today. The question remains, can Phoenix adapt or collapse like Las Vegas? Houston faces another dangerous trap with oil dependence. The city is rich in energy but poor in long-term stability. When oil prices rise, jobs and housing rise together. When oil prices fall, jobs and housing collapse overnight. In 2014, an oil crash erased tens of thousands of jobs. Homes lost value and many offices sat empty for years. On top of this, Houston faces constant flooding disasters. Hurricane Harvey destroyed thousands of homes and raised insurance costs. Now families pay high mortgages plus expensive flood insurance. Wages stay flat while costs continue rising every month. Houston lives in a painful cycle of boom then bust. One local joked, "Houston has a problem, and it's not space. If Houston's weakness is oil, Las Vegas struggles with debt." Vegas shines with bright neon lights and endless casinos. But locals are crushed badly by rent and debt. Housing takes more than 35% of the average paycheck. Las Vegas depends fully on casinos and heavy tourism. When visitors stop coming, thousands of jobs vanish instantly. The 2008 housing crash hit the city especially hard. Now high interest rates bring the same dangerous threat again. For bartenders, guards, and hotel workers, life feels like gambling. Not at blackjack tables but with mortgage and rent payments. Vegas turned entertainment into survival for ordinary working families. The question is, how long can luck keep a city alive? Washington, D.C., the capital, shows a different paradox today. It is full of wealth, power, and endless politics. But many workers like teachers and nurses cannot live there. A firefighter in D.C. cannot rent a one-bedroom apartment. The city is filled with lobbyists, contractors, and think tanks. Housing demand is high but new building is restricted. So prices and rents climb faster than worker salaries. Many move far away, driving hours every day to work. Inside Congress, politicians debate trillion-dollar federal budgets. Outside, workers fight to pay rent on time. Some people joke, Washington doesn't just print money, it prints rent. D.C. shows the gap between rich and poor every day. We have now seen 10 collapsing American cities together. Each tells its own story but shares the same theme. Jobs are weak, housing is unaffordable, and the middle class shrinks. America looks strong when viewed from the outside world. But inside, its economic foundation shakes with serious cracks. The question remains clear for everyone watching. Is this the start of decline or a possible rebirth? Now it is your turn to answer. Which city do you think faces the next crisis? Is there still hope for ordinary hardworking Americans today? Or is the system already built against the people? Share your thoughts freely in the comments section. If you found this video useful, like and subscribe. Turn on notifications for more updates and analysis. This video is commentary only, not financial or policy advice.